Detroit, Alex Ovechkin had peppered Red Wings goaltender Petr Mrazek with 6 shots through 60 minutes Friday night, each one more frustrating than the last. While Ovechkin is a terror for most netminders, Mrazek has stymied Ovechkin over the years, the rare goalie Washington's captain had never beaten. But less than 2 minutes into overtime, Detroit defenseman Trevor Daley was called for tripping Ovechkin, and Ovechkin's 7th shot of the game, his signature one-timer on the power play 48 seconds later, finally got through. The tally lifted the Capitals to a come-from-behind 4-3 win, snapping a 2-game losing streak. That game winner was Ovechkin's 10th goal of the season, and he has now scored 20 goals in overtime over his career, the most in NHL history. "Obviously, we knew it's an important game for us, and we get the 2 points," Ovechkin said. Capitals coach Barry Trotz shuffles lines, puts Tom Wilson with Nicklas Backstrom. After forward Tomas Tatar scored his 2nd goal of the game to lift the Red Wings to a 3-2 lead with 7:15 remaining, the Capitals appeared to be headed for a 3rd straight loss in regulation. But Dylan Larkin received a delay of game penalty for sailing a puck over the glass, and that gave Washington's power play an opportunity to equalize with 2:43 left in regulation. The Capitals put goaltender Braden Holtby on the bench for a 6-on-4 attack, and TJ Oshie swatted in a nifty feed from Andrei Burakovsky to tie it and send the game into overtime, where both teams would at least earn a point. Washington rarely lost back-to-back games over the previous 2 seasons, and the team's only losing streak of 3 games or more came in March of last season. Washington's players and coaches have acknowledged this team is still very much a work in progress after some off-season turnover, and rallying in the final minutes is an encouraging step and potentially something to build on going forward. "Hopefully you rally around something there," Coach Barry Trotz said. Through the first 7 games, the Capitals had lacked secondary scoring, with 17 of the Capitals' 22 goals coming from either Nicklas Backstrom, Ovechkin, or Oshie. In response to that, Trotz made his first significant line changes, demoting young sniper Burakovsky to the 3rd line with center Lars Eller, while promoting power forward Tom Wilson to a top line with Backstrom and Oshie. Caps center Jay Beagle to play 400th NHL game against Red Wings, the team he loved growing up. The Capitals' bottom 6 forward core answered the call for balance on Friday night. Just as Washington had eclipsed more than 128 minutes without a goal, dating back to the 2nd period against the Philadelphia Flyers last week, Burakovsky ended his drought along with the team's. He tied the game in the last minute of the 2nd period with his 1st goal of the season. 4th-line center Jay Beagle then lifted the Capitals to a 2-1 lead early in the 3rd period with a short-handed breakaway. Sports Daily Newsletter. Sports news with a focus on DC area teams. Sign up. "That's how we want to be most of the year," Oshie said. "Obviously, you've got Ovechkin over there, and he's going to get a lot of goals, but we can't rely on just him and a couple other guys to get it. We need to use our depth, and we've got players on those other 2 lines that can score goals, that can bring offense, and I think you saw it tonight." While it may be true that Ovechkin can be counted on to score on many occasions and give Washington a lift, he had historically struggled against Mrazek entering Friday. Mrazek famously saved 15 shots by Ovechkin in one game 2 years ago, and Ovechkin hasn't even beaten the goalie in a shootout. Mrazek had stopped 40 shots from Ovechkin over his career before Friday night's overtime. But after an Ovechkin turnover on the power play that led to Detroit's 1st goal of the game, a short-handed score by Darren Helm, the Capitals captain may have been especially motivated when overtime arrived. He drove to the net to draw the penalty from Daley, and undeterred by his history against Mrazek, Ovechkin fired again. "Ovi does what he does," Trotz said. "He gets an opportunity, and he can put it in the net."